Hey everybody, it's Leanne here. Again, I'm at school this week and I'm gonna come live with you for my show on my day or my lunch hour. And so it's interesting where I've been going this last little bit, and you know making choices around going on a trip to Denver or not, and what that's going to create for me. And it's interesting how things show up, and I'm so grateful for those access tools that I've been using, and the people that kind of are playing with me in access and helping me get through a little bit of this stuff. So and I dived into this little book because it's on projections, expectations, separations, judgments, and rejections. And it's just really relevant for me right now. And so I just want to give you a little bit of definitions, like at the beginning of the book, to kind of set the stage here. So, what are projections, expectations, separations, judgments, and rejections? So, projections and expectations are what you think someone else will do, even if they aren't going to do it. A projection would be, this man is perfect for me. An expectation would be, he will have the same point of view about me that I have about him. He'll think I'm perfect for him. So those are just an example of projections and expectations. Judgment is any fixed point of view or any conviction that someone or something has to be a certain way. Separation occurs once you do a judgment of any kind. You separate yourself from the person or thing you judge, even if it's you. Rejection is dismissing or refusing something. So those are just some definitions of the projections, expectations, separations, judgments, and rejections. And that's a mouthful. But so I've been toying with choosing this class in Denver for quite some time. You know, I actually expected to be leaving on a trip to Maui tomorrow, and that just, it changed. You know, I was aware of this Choice of Possibilities class in Denver, and it was very light and expansive for me. I know choosing the class will create the change that I've been asking for. You know, and so when I first looked at it, telling people that I was going, and then, you know, the possibility of people choosing to go with me, and, you know, expecting the trip to look a certain way, you know, with the people that were going to come with me, how much fun it was going to be, all the things, right? And then when they changed their minds or chose something different, things changed. And it's interesting how that has affected me and actually wanting to choose to go now. It's interesting. And I know that I'm just resisting it, really dynamically, actually, because of the expectations that I had of the people that were going to choose it with me. So I'll go back to the book here. Whenever you're doing projection and expectation of any kind, you are separating, judging, and rejecting anything that would give you awareness. You're eliminating your awareness. And so because I've been sitting in this funk of, you know, the expectation of other people and what they were going to choose and how that was going to affect me, I've really been kind of separating from the awareness of what this class would create for me. And I know what it'll create for me. And so then there's some resistance to actually choosing it based on that. And, you know, like signing up for the class, getting on some, you know, live Zooms with the hosts and the facilitator, and saying, I'm coming, yes, you know, like, and committing to it. And now I'm, you know, like, the expectation is that I attend. And so I'm all wrapped up in all these expectations. And it's just interesting. So have you ever found yourself in a place where, like, you've chosen something, like you're going to go on a trip, let's say, and, you know, and then you had somebody that was going to go with you, right? And you knew that it was going to create, huge amount of change for you and it was going to be awesome and you were going to have this great time. And then all of a sudden at the last minute, they changed their mind or they didn't have enough money to go or whatever like that. And then you're like, well, crap, should I go? Do I back out or do I just go? Because I know that was really fun and expansive and light for me to go. And, so what do you choose? Do you choose to kind of shrink back and separate from your awareness of what that will create? Or do you just go ahead and kind of jump in and do it anyway? And so that's kind of where I've been playing and, asking the questions around, will this create greater for me? Yes, definitely. And then I've now have a different friend that is going to jump in with me and go, and what will that create? And so it's really, it's just changed and morphed and I've had to just be okay with the changes as they roll and still commit to myself and the change that I know that's going to come out of this class as I move forward and what I want to create, just with my life. And so anyway, there's a few more things that I found that were really interesting in the book here that I just wanted to share with you. And, this kind of section is about what's actually true for me. And Gary's talking about, so Gary Douglas, the founder of Access, he's written this book. And so he talks about this, you project and expect that if somebody says something, when what they say must be true. If somebody says something, then it must be true. That's a projection and expectation that everybody speaks the truth. And maybe at that time it was true for them, but things change. So if you decide they're telling the truth and they want to honor you by having you over for dinner, and then you don't want to go, what awareness are you refusing? So this is just a participant was talking about how, she was invited over by a family for dinner and they just wanted to honor her, or that's what they said. They want to honor you, or honor her. And will you, come over for dinner? And this person didn't really want to go. And so that's what he's talking about. If you decide they're telling the truth and they want to honor you by having you over for dinner and then you don't want to go, what awareness are you refusing? So if it's light or heavy for you to do something, you have a feeling of whether, a sense of whether this would create greater for you if you went on this trip, or if you went over for dinner, or if you, the choices that you're looking at making, maybe choosing a bars class or something. Will it create greater for your life? Yes or no? You have a sense that it will or it won't. And then if you choose it or don't choose it, right? It's completely up to you. So he goes on to say, you're believing what they say and what you're making that the truth rather than asking what's actually true for me here. Do they really want to honor me, or are they trying to get something out of me? And after you went there for dinner, did you feel better, worse, or the same? So you can kind of ask those questions. If I go there, if I do this thing, will it create greater for me? After, will it be better? Will it be worse, or the same? And then you can get a sense of whether that, if that would be true for you or not. So were you rejecting them, or were you rejecting your awareness of what was actually true? And is it a projection and expectation that you have to feel bad if you don't deliver what somebody wants from you? So it's interesting. She's choosing not to go. She's made up an excuse that she can't go because it doesn't feel right. So she's kind of rejecting this awareness of what would create greater, just because she doesn't want to hurt their feelings or make them feel bad. Gary goes on to say, I never expect anybody to tell me the truth. I'm always in question. I ask, what's this person actually saying? What's this person actually doing? And quite often, somebody says things and then their actions don't quite match, right? And so that's come up for me with this. And then the class participant says, so if you expect someone to be decent to you, then you're setting them up to what? And he's like, to use you. Isn't that fun? Because when you project and expect anything, you're separating, judging, and rejecting your awareness. So, yeah, We take on their points of view. We don't question our point of view ever. If you have no points of view and no projections, expectations, separations, judgments, or rejections, you can be aware of everything and change pretty much anything. So that's cool. So, that's kind of where I've been at in the last few days. And, with the help of people, that are kind of alongside me, helping me ask questions around whether this choice will create greater, and, kind of in the goo of projections and expectations and judgments, and and I'm separating from my awareness of what I know is true for me, and choosing to go on this class. So I'm just inviting you to take a peek at, maybe there's something that you're aware of, like, you want to take a class, you want to do a new job, or switch jobs, or go to university, or anything, right? That it's there for a reason in your awareness. And have you been separating from that? Like, have you been choosing to not choose that because of the expectations of others, projections that they're putting on you? Oh, like, you're too old, you shouldn't be doing that, like all the things that people project at you. Yet if you have an awareness that choice will create greater for you, then you're separating from what you know. And anyway, I don't know if that makes sense. It's kind of like all enmeshed and together, but basically, if you have any of those projections or expectations, then you are separating from yourself. And anyway, that's what I got. I'm choosing it anyway. I'm choosing to go to Denver and take this Choice of Possibilities class. And I know that there's lots of expectations of me at home during this time, and I know that it'll still create greater for me. And yeah, I mean, how much fun can I have, making this choice and knowing that what this choice will create for me moving forward, and stop resisting what I'm aware of. And so I invite you to do the same. What are you aware of, and what are you resisting from choosing the things that that will create greater for you in your life? So anyway, I am off for the next little bit. I'll be after, next week, it'll be after the class. So we'll see what shows up after that. So anyway, have a good day. We'll talk soon. Bye for now.